Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines: Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with vaccine makers at 4 p.m. today to discuss various issues like furthering vaccine research. Over 101 crore 30 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.16%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for utilizing huge tourism potential of Goa, interacts with beneficiaries and stakeholders of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Swayam Purna Goa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program tomorrow. Home Minister Amit Shah visits residence of martyr Parvez Ahmed in Srinagar, chairs high-level security meeting with officials. Public property worth 2,000 crore rupees destroyed in Kumaon division in Uttarakhand due to recent flash floods and landslides. India and the UK agree to strengthen climate initiatives and further their green partnership. Prime Minister writes to Olympian Rupinder Pal Singh lauding his contribution to Indian hockey. And in cricket, T20 World Cup kicks off today with Australia taking on South Africa in Abu Dhabi and West Indies facing England in Dubai. As India created history by administering 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with vaccine makers at 4 p.m. today. This meeting takes place on the momentous occasion of India crossing 100 crore vaccine doses. The Prime Minister will take stock of their experiences as well as discuss various issues like furthering vaccine research with the vaccine makers. In November last year, the Prime Minister visited Serum Institute of India to understand the process of vaccine production and distribution. Serum Institute of India has partnered with AstraZeneca and University of Oxford to manufacture the Covishield vaccine. Mr. Modi also visited Bharat Biotech's facility in Hyderabad last year. He also visited pharma major Zydus Cadilla's plant near Ahmedabad to get information. World leaders applauded India as the COVID-19 vaccination drive crossed the 100 crore dose milestone, saying it had brought the world closer to defeating the global pandemic and achieving vaccine equity. Under the nationwide vaccination drive, more than 101 crore 30 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far. Yesterday, over 68 lakh 48,000 doses were administered. Reported. Currently, India's active caseload stands at 1,73,728, the lowest in 233 days. The recovery rate is currently at 98.16%, the highest since March last year, with over 17,000 people recovering in the last 24 hours. The death toll due to the pandemic has reached 4,53,708. In the last 24 hours, 666 deaths were reported. In Tamil Nadu, the 6th mega COVID vaccination drive is being held today with 50,000 camps, in all the districts of the state. The Health Minister M. Subramaniam said that the vaccination camps will be conducted in all places, including shopping malls and public places. The state has already administered at least one dose of vaccine to more than 5 crore people.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Goa has the potential to emerge as a power in fishing processing sector. He was addressing an event in Goa after interacting with beneficiaries and stakeholders of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Swayambhurna Goa program via video conferencing today. Mr. Modi said efforts are mooted to accelerate the pace of strengthening fishing and assistance to fishermen. In the past 7 years, our government has introduced a range of facilities for fishermen of the country, like Navy Cap, Kisan credit cards to grow beyond the raw market and move into the processing side of the business to become self-reliant. The Prime Minister said ease is being maintained to give loans to farmers and fishermen, and it has yielded results.
स्वयंपूर्ण गोवा की एक बड़ी ताकत फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री होने वाली है। विशेष रूप से फिश प्रोसेसिंग में गोवा भारत की ताकत बन सकता है। भारत लंबे समय से रॉ फिश को एक्सपोर्ट करता रहा है। भारत की फिश पूर्वी एशियाई देशों से प्रोसेस होकर दुनिया के बाजारों तक पहुंचती है। इस स्थिति को बदलने के लिए फिशरीज सेक्टर को पहली बार बहुत बड़े स्तर पर मदद दी जा रही है। मछली के व्यापार कारोबार के लिए अलग मंत्रालय से लेकर मछुआरों की नावों के आधुनिकीकरण तक हर स्तर पर प्रोत्साहन दिया जा रहा है। प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य संपदा योजना के तहत भी गोवा में हमारे मछुआरों को बहुत मदद मिल रही है।
The Prime Minister said Swayambhurna Goa means completion of aspirations of common man, mothers and daughters, youth and a ray of hope for the bright future. The Prime Minister said Goa is successfully expanding the schemes formulated by the central government for women.
चाहे टॉयलेट्स हो, उज्ज्वला गैस कनेक्शन हो या फिर जनधन बैंक अकाउंट हो, गोवा ने महिलाओं को ये सुविधा देने में बेहतरीन काम किया है। इसी वजह से कोरोना लॉकडाउन के दौरान हजारों बहनों को मुफ्त गैस सिलेंडर मिले, उनके बैंक अकाउंट में पैसे जमा हो सके, घर घर नल से जल पहुंचाकर भी गोवा सरकार ने बहनों को बहुत बड़ी सुविधा दी है। अब गोवा सरकार गृह आधार और दीनदयाल सोशल सिक्योरिटी जैसी योजनाओं से गोवा की बहनों का जीवन और बेहतर बनाने का काम कर रही है।
Mr. Modi said tourism potential in Goa is vast, and with larger connectivity after the second airport and other projects, Goa will march ahead with more vigor.
भारत के वैक्सीनेशन अभियान में भी गोवा सहित देश के उन राज्यों को विशेष प्रोत्साहन दिया गया है जो टूरिज्म के केंद्र है। इसमें गोवा को भी बहुत लाभ हुआ है। गोवा ने दिन रात प्रयास करके अपने यहाँ सभी पात्र लोगों को वैक्सीन की पहली डोज लगवाई। अब देश ने भी 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज का आंकड़ा पार कर लिया है। इससे देश के लोगों में विश्वास बढ़ा है, टूरिस्टों में विश्वास बढ़ा है। अब जब आप दिवाली, क्रिसमस और न्यू ईयर की तैयारी कर रहे हैं तो त्योहारों और छुट्टियों के इस सीजन में गोवा के टूरिज्म सेक्टर में नई ऊर्जा देखने को मिलेगी।
Earlier, during his interaction with a beneficiary, the Prime Minister appreciated the efforts of administrators in training self-help groups. He said self-help groups can do a lot more to serve the society.
ऐसे कई विषय हो सकते हैं जिसको आप डेवलप कर सकते हैं। जैसे कहीं पर हॉस्टल में वर्किंग वुमेन रहती हैं या लड़के पढ़ते हैं, उनको भोजन की तकलीफ होती है, तो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप की बहनें छोटा सा किचन चलाती हैं और उनको खाना पहुंचा देती हैं। कुछ सेल्फ हेल्प की ग्रुप बहनें अस्पतालों में खाना पहुंचा देती हैं। एक प्रकार से उनका डेवलपमेंट भी होगा। समाज जीवन में जो कुछ बुराइयां या व्यय होता है फालतू, उन सबको भी बचाया जा सकता है। सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप इन सेवा के क्षेत्र में भी बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। हमारी अफसरशाही जितनी ही संवेदनशील और जिम्मेदार होगी, उतना ही ज्यादा फायदा लोगों को मिलेगा, देश को मिलेगा। हमारे अफसर जितने इनोवेटिव होंगे, उतनी ही तेजी से लोगों तक सरकार की योजनाएं पहुंचेगी।
Speaking on the occasion, Chief Minister Pramod Sawant said that the Prime Minister is constantly giving all support and assistance to Goa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 a.m. tomorrow. It will be the 82nd episode of the monthly radio program. The program will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan, AIR News website and News on AIR mobile app. It will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of AIR News, DD News, PMO and Information and Broadcasting Ministry. AIR will broadcast the program in regional languages immediately after the Hindi broadcast. The regional language versions will also be repeated at 8 p.m.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah visited the residence of martyr Parvez Ahmed in Srinagar and is also likely to meet the family members of other civilians killed by terrorists in Srinagar this month. The Home Minister arrived in Srinagar this morning on a 3-day visit to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Amit Shah straight away proceeded to the residence of martyr Parvez Ahmed, a CID officer who was shot dead by terrorists 4 months ago, and met his family members.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah was received at the Srinagar International Airport by Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and Union Minister of State in Prime Minister's Office, Dr. Jitendra Singh, and other officers of the Union Territory Administration. During the day, apart from taking a review of the security situation in a meeting at a unified command in Srinagar today, he is also scheduled to flag off direct flight from Srinagar to Sharjah this evening. Tomorrow, the Home Minister is scheduled to address a public rally at Bhagwati Nagar in Jammu, where he will interact with Panchayat members, party workers, and will take a developmental review of various projects in Jammu region. This is Sunil Kohl for AR News from Srinagar.
The visit assumes significance since this is the first visit of Home Minister Amit Shah to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir after the abrogation of Article 370 on August the 5th, 2019 that bifurcated the erstwhile state into 2 Union Territories of J&K and Ladakh.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with vaccine makers at 4 p.m. today to discuss various issues like furthering vaccine research. Over 101 crore 30 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.16%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for utilizing huge tourism potential of Goa. Interacts with beneficiaries and stakeholders of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Swayambhur Goa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in his Mann Ki Baat program tomorrow. Home Minister Amit Shah visits residence of martyr Parvez Ahmed in Srinagar, chairs high-level security meeting with officials. Public property worth 2,000 crore rupees destroyed in Kumaon division in Uttarakhand due to recent flash floods and landslides. India and the UK agree to strengthen climate initiatives and further their green partnership. Prime Minister writes to Olympian Rupinder Pal Singh, lauding his contribution to Indian hockey. And in cricket, T20 World Cup kicks off today with Australia taking on South Africa in Abu Dhabi and West Indies facing England in Dubai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास, तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार।
Welcome back to the Midday News. In Uttarakhand, public property worth 2,000 crore rupees was destroyed in Kumaon division in heavy rainfall that flooded roads, triggered landslides and destroyed bridges in the last few days. Divisional Commissioner of Kumaon, Sushil Kumar, told the media in Haldwani that the loss to private property will be ascertained after a ground survey is done by the officials concerned. He said 7 choppers of the Indian Air Force and 1 of a private company are involved in the rescue and relief work. 7,880 tourists trapped in various areas in the division due to heavy rains have been rescued. He said now the focus is to provide relief materials including food and medicines to the rescued people. Meanwhile, Char Dham Yatra is continuing in the state. According to the Char Dham Devasthanam Board, a total of 247,000 pilgrims visited the Char Dham shrines since the commencement of the Yatra last month.
Ministry of Power has notified rules for the sustainability of electricity sector and promotion of clean energy. These rules are Electricity Timely Recovery of Costs Due to Change in Law Rules 2021 and Electricity Promotion of Generation from Renewable Sources of Energy by Addressing Must-Run and Others Matters Rules 2021. Ministry of Power has said that these rules would help in creating an investment-friendly environment in the country. It said that these rules will help in achieving India's international commitments of renewable energy generation. It added that this will ensure that consumers get green and clean power and secure a healthy environment for future generations. The centre has said it is hopeful that key oil seeds and edible oil producing states will start imposing stock limits from next week, which will help in cooling down the prices and give relief to consumers during the festive season. Yesterday, Food Ministry has written a letter to all the state governments to refer to their previous stock limits order while finalizing the quantity. The ministry suggested the states and UTs to impose stock limits in such a way that no stakeholder like refiners, millers, wholesalers holds the stock in excess of 2 months of their storage capacity. A meeting with states has been convened on Monday to review the action taken so far on stock limit order. On the 8th of this month, Food Ministry had imposed stock limits on edible oils and oilseed up to 31st of March next year.
As part of commemorative activities of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the Indian Navy is conducting an offshore sailing regatta from Kochi to Goa under the aegis of the Indian Naval Sailing Association. 6 Indian naval sailing vessels, Midday, Tarini, Bulbul, Neelkant, Kadalpura and Haryal will participate in the event. The race is scheduled to start tomorrow for a tentative duration of 5 days and would cover an approximate distance of 360 nautical miles between the start point at Naval Base Kochi to Goa. The expedition is aimed at fostering the spirit of adventure and ocean sailing for the participating crew. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change Bhupender Yadav has said that India and the UK have agreed to strengthen climate initiatives and further their green partnership. Mr. Yadav held a bilateral meeting with UK Foreign Minister Elizabeth Truss in New Delhi yesterday. The UK will host the 26th Conference of Parties COP26 to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in Glasgow from the 31st of this month to the 12th of November. During the meeting, the Union Minister assured India's full support to the UK COP presidency for its meaningful outcome. During the meeting, both sides discussed crucial issues like COP26, initiatives, India-UK roadmap, bilateral cooperation, Commonwealth Declaration on climate change, as well as other related issues.
First Vice President of South Sudan, Dr. Riek Machar, has assured South Sudan's commitment for pro-investment policy towards India. Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan met him recently during his 3-day visit to South Sudan. They discussed ways to take cooperation, including trade and investment, further. During Mr. Muralidharan's visit, President of South Sudan General Salva Kiir Mayardit has also agreed to allot land for a temple and a cremation ground in Juba. Mr. Muralidharan said that this was a long-awaited demand of the Indian community. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Janutsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in the morning news since 16th August and will continue till 15th August 2022. Now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
On 23rd of October 1778 was born Kittur Chennamma, the Queen of Kittur.
ಕಿತ್ತೂರ ಚೆನ್ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿಡಿದರ ಖಡ್ಗ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸಿದ ನಡಗ ಎದುರಾಳಿನ ಎದೆಯ ಸೀಳಿ ಪಟ್ಟಾಳು ಮನ್ನ ಕಲ್ವರ ಹಿಡಿದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ ಯುದ್ಧ ಕಿತ್ತೂರ ಸೈನ್ಯ ಭರಿಸಿದ ಗೆದ್ದ ಕಿತ್ತೂರ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಧಿಪತಿಯಾಗಿ ಆಳಿದು ಚೆನ್ನಮ್ಮ.
She was one of the female rulers who led an armed rebellion against the British East India Company in 1824.
Right from a young age, she acquired all the skills required to win a battle, including horse riding, sword fighting and archery, and became well known in no time for her bravery.
The British took over the administration of Kittur in 1824 under the doctrine of Laos. When the Queen protested against the British occupation, the British Army attacked Kittur in 1824 with 20,000 men and 400 guns.
The intention was to confiscate her jewels and treasures worth rupees 1.5 million, making her economically weak, and then dethrone her.
Despite having a numerically inferior force, Chennamma put up a tough fight and won the first round of battle. The British Army faced massive losses, and eventually 2 British officers, Sir Walter Elliot and Mr. Stevenson, were taken as hostages, giving Chennamma an upper hand in the negotiations.
Chennamma agreed to release the hostages if the British ended the war and allowed her son to rule. Commissioner Chaplin from the East India Company took the offer, and the hostages were released.
However, in an unforeseen turnaround, the British troops launched a second round of attack. They could not take the humiliation of losing to a woman from a small village and roped in armies from Mysore and Solapur. They also convinced 2 of her soldiers to betray her by mixing cow dung and mud with the gunpowder used for cannons.
This time, she was captured and imprisoned for life at Belhongal Fort. She passed away on the 21st of February 1829. Rani Chennamma was buried in Belhongal Taluk. Her legacy and first victory are still commemorated in Kittur during the Kittur Utsav held from the 22nd to 24th of October.
On 23rd of October 1934, Mahatma Gandhi resigned from the Congress party and quit politics. He said he withdrew from active politics and even resigned his membership of the Congress because he wanted to devote himself fully to the constructive program and Harijan welfare.
He did not disagree with the party's position, but felt that if he resigned, his popularity with Indians would cease to stifle the party's membership, which actually varied, including communists, socialists, trade unionists, students, religious conservatives, and those with pro-business convictions, and that these various voices would get a chance to make themselves heard.
He had also come to believe that the leading members of the Congress party had adopted non-violence as a political means and not as a fundamental essence. In place of political activity, Gandhiji then concentrated on his constructive program of building the nation from the bottom up, educating rural India, which accounted for 85% of the population, was not an easy task.
Gandhiji continued his fight against untouchability, promoted hand spinning, weaving and other cottage industries to supplement the earnings of the underemployed peasantry. Gandhiji himself went to live at Sevagram, a village which later became the center of his program of social and economic uplift.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar, AIR News ke sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In Karnataka, Kittur Rani Chennamma Jayanti was celebrated today. Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj S. Bommai garlanded the statue of the Queen in Hubli in Dharwad district.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has lauded hockey player Rupinder Pal Singh for his contribution to Indian hockey. In a letter to him, Mr. Modi said he read a post of Mr. Singh where he has announced his retirement from the Indian hockey team. The Prime Minister in his letter highlighted Singh's stellar role in the Tokyo Olympics. Mr. Modi said the bronze medal in Tokyo marks a watershed moment in Indian hockey. The Prime Minister also expressed hope that Rupinder should be able to visit various schools by August 2023 and interact with youngsters on ways to end malnutrition as well as popularize sports. Mr. Singh in a tweet said he is overwhelmed to receive the letter from the Prime Minister. Mr. Singh said Prime Minister's constant support to athletes has motivated to do the best and pledged to continue his contribution to Indian sports. Rupinder Pal Singh played as a full-back and is known for his abilities as one of the best drag flickers in the world. The Men's T20 Cricket World Cup kicks off today with Australia taking on South Africa in Abu Dhabi at 3:30 p.m, while West Indies will clash with England in Dubai at 7:30 p.m. India will play their first match against Pakistan tomorrow. All India Radio will broadcast ball-by-ball commentary of the World Cup from today. Yesterday, Namibia made history by qualifying for the T20 World Cup Super 12 stage in their very first appearance, beating Ireland by 8 wickets at Sharjah. In another qualifier, Sri Lanka beat the Netherlands by 8 wickets in their final Group A league match at Sharjah.
India's first in vitro fertilization calf of the bunny buffalo breed has taken birth today. With this, India's ovum pickup in vitro fertilization work has reached the next level. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had talked about the bunny buffalo breed during his visit to Kutch region of Gujarat last year. The very next day, ovum pickup and aspiration processes for the in vitro fertilization of bunny buffaloes was planned. Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying has said that both the government and the scientist fraternity see a great potential in the field of in vitro fertilization of buffaloes. It said they are striving hard to improve cattle wealth in the country. And now let us take a look at today's weather. The national capital Delhi is likely to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be 31 degrees. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. It recorded a minimum temperature of 22 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be 32 degrees. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be nearly 34 degrees. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky. The city noted a minimum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be 34 degrees. Hyderabad will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Temperature will hover between 20 and 32 degrees Celsius. Bengaluru will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of 1 or 2 spells of rain. Temperature will vary between 21 and 29 degrees Celsius. Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Guwahati will have partly cloudy sky. Imphal will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. Shillong will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 12 and 23 degrees Celsius, while Aizawl will have partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 17 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 27 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with vaccine makers at 4 p.m. today to discuss various issues like furthering vaccine research. Over 101 crore 30 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.16%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for utilizing huge tourism potential of Goa, interact with beneficiaries and stakeholders of Atmanirbhar Bharat Swayambhurna Goa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program tomorrow. Home Minister Amit Shah visits residence of martyr Parvez Ahmed in Srinagar, chairs high-level security meeting with officials. Public property worth 2,000 crore rupees destroyed in Kumaon division in Uttarakhand due to recent flash floods and landslides. India and the UK agree to strengthen climate initiatives and further their green partnership. Prime Minister writes to Olympian Rupinder Pal Singh lauding his contribution to Indian hockey. And in cricket, T20 World Cup kicks off today with Australia taking on South Africa in Abu Dhabi and West Indies facing England in Dubai. And with that, we end the midday news.